What's going on, guys? So I already mentioned this once before, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I was talking about this show, which is Quiet on Set. Now, it was something that was going to come out. I think I misspoke and said it was the Drake Bell documentary. It's not. It's basically a Nickelodeon, expose at this point. It exposes everything that happened, not just Drake Bell. Drake Bell was a draw-in because out of everything I've seen so far, it's 3 episodes in, Drake Bell had the worst of the worst so far. Still got 1 episode left. As of right now, Drake Bell has been dealt a really horrible hand in this industry, is the best way to put it. Super PG. I can't say exactly because while I'm not monetized, it definitely will not get the word out there if there's certain ways I say this. YouTube would hate that. I hate to say that, but they won't put it out there. But the stuff that happens in this is downright degrading. It is almost reminiscent of a borderline, McMahon style. And I think it's crazy. All the people that we definitely had an idolization of back in the day of the 90s have come out to be disgusting, vile people. I don't know if this says something about us in Hollywood as a society. Behind the scenes, everybody knows bad things happen. The only way to change that is people start standing up for the nastiness being gone. But I digress. That's not the point of the video. What I'm getting at is I watched it. I've been binge watching it all day. Every chance I had a break, I would sit down and watch it. Even on the ride home, I put it up on my GPS holder, put it through the speakers, and was listening to the major part of Drake Bell's confession. Basically, he confesses to all the legal happenings that happened where they had his name out so far. So this is what I'm getting so far. And if there's anything changed since then, I might do an update. If not, then as of right now, it stands. He was quite literally abused, and the details of it are pretty disgusting. It is a horrible thing. That's why it's hard to even try to crack a joke at this point because of how bad it was. That's the worst of it. Now, there's still people that were treated differently for potentially their race, their sex, stuff like that. As they would state, one girl was, which I remember seeing her when I was a kid. She was too chunky. They said they already had a fat one, so they can't have 2 fat girls. Well, what ended up happening was she became a teenager and started filling out as a teenager, going through puberty, probably start, filling out as, somebody would. And they started getting annoyed that she may be too old, which is kind of weird to state, but I get half of what they're saying. And here's another thing. Dan Schnider is a complete pervert. That's what you can definitely tell. Foot fetish, he denies a lot of these accusations, but here's the thing that gets me so far up to this point. Dan Snyder's been pretty much pointed out as a creep. He hasn't done anything, explicit directly. It's all indirect jokes, except for the way he's treated his staff. He's treated them like shit. These are all allegations, by the way. I have no proof on this. But basically everything's become a huge shitstorm. To make it worse, he's kind of the good guy, which makes no sense. So with everything that happened to Drake Bell at this point, he's actually like, he told him, you don't have to talk about it. You can tell me what happened if you want. But he is literally trying to check on him, make sure he's okay. Now, I got to get on the last episode to finish this off. But it's pretty messed up that all this stuff happened. Now, the biggest creep of them all is a guy named Brian Peck. Brian Peck, by the way, is still out. He is roaming free as of March 7th, 2024, which is literally not but 12 days ago. He was being, seen running back into his house in fear, I guess, from TMZ trying to record him, trying to pop him. Paparazzi or whatever, it may not be a TMZ. I think it was just a paparazzi was coming at him, and it terrified him. Which, yeah, no, you deserve it. You're a creep. You're a terrible person. You shouldn't even be free right now, but you're roaming around after the stuff you've done, allegedly. Actually, I think he got full charge. So, yeah, no, you got charged. You're a piece of shit. But if you want a documentary that tells you twists and turns, and you're a 90s kid like me, which would be roughly about 35 years old or between 25 and 35, and you watch any type of all that up to the 2000s now. This is stuff that happened, when I was, at the beginning of high school. This happened right before. All this started popping off right when they were getting ready to do the pilot for Drake and Josh. That's how, late in this cycle it happened. A lot of the misogynistic stuff and sexism that happened early on. That was in the early to mid 90s. The way they were being utilized seemed very underutilized. Is basically how they're stating it. The way it comes out to be, it's only a handful of them that are coming out. A couple of higher ups, people that wrote on the show, stuff like that. They're coming out, which is a good thing. It's not bad. It's good that they're coming out. But here's the other problem: these were adults that were apparently afraid that they would lose their job. I hold them just a little bit accountable for not standing up when they needed to. Now there's a lot of red tape behind that. I'm just stating. I just think people should stand up a lot more. Now, given it's hard to stand up when you have an army against you, I understand that. So don't take that out of context. I think these people are weak or a bunch of wusses. I just think that there could have been something done about it and could have prevented a lot of problems that happen later if at least most of them stood up and didn't just stand behind everything. Because that was the thing. Dan Schnider got a bunch of power. He started being a jackass, started pushing his weight around, almost, literally. He got a little too close to Amanda Bynes, did some weird, creepy stuff. A lot of allegations against him, basically stating the reason why he's a creep is he would do cum shots, bust a nut shot type deals, using props. So it kind of got to extra levels of disgusting. And I wish that was the end of it. It's not. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, you're looking at 40-something minutes, 43 minutes per episode, and I've watched 3 of them. So you go ahead and do the math on that. And there's a 4th one. This is actually getting as grotesque and as weird as I thought it would be. The details in it are just so obscure, off the wall, and disgusting. By the way, that Brian Peck guy I mentioned that got a hold of Drake Bell, he had pretty much a whole thing that showed him as being that type of creep. So to kind of support what I'm saying, one guy who was at one of the barbecue party stuff like that they would have for children because he was a weirdo. He had all this memorabilia. Well, as somebody that's not a fan of the classic arts of older movies and stuff like that, he thought it was just weird. And then there's one thing that stood out to him, which was his personal self-portrait given to him by John Wayne Gacy. If you don't know who that is, that went on a spree of sorts that involved younger men and boys. Now, he got quite a few people. Look him up. Crazy person. But he was a clown. And I mean literally the, face paint and all that. He was an actual clown. And he did all this. Well, he also had pen pals, stuff like this. Well, Brian Peck was one of them, and he gave him a self-portrait. Signed it and everything, and that was like one of his most beautiful things to him. He had a stack of papers where they talked as pen pals, all this stuff, and nobody batted an eye that he might have been a problem. But out of all this, Drake Bell's father was the one that was sniffing this out from the beginning. So kudos to him for actually trying to get this, set. And there's a lot of things that happen that definitely has hurt a lot of people. And I'm going to let you know, this is Nickelodeon. These are children's shows. I'm pretty sure Disney has some hidden things that they haven't come out with. I have to say, these allegations are very serious, very disgusting. And it just goes to show you that not only is Hollywood weird, but the children's scene of Hollywood is just as weird. Shirley Temple, for instance, a lot of people are like, oh, that's just cutesy, innocent, old stuff. The way they treated that girl, I'm telling you, is just a little bit weird. But I think I ranted long enough. I just wanted to go ahead and let you know something I did mention about the show coming out, and everybody should watch it. If you want to know the truth about everything, or at least what they're alleging to, and a lot of the charges and how everybody's just kind of roaming free at this point, go ahead and look it up. It's on HBO Max. This is not supported in any way by them. I'm not being influenced or paid. It's just I already have Max, so I decided to watch it and thought it was something that intrigued me to begin with, and it's definitely just as crazy as I thought it would be. And I'm going to finish watching it tonight, get a nice shower, and go to bed. But that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.